Life as a newly arrived immigrant is far from easy in Germany. Apart from dealing with a new culture and alien environment, there is the problem of making a living. The German authorities are trying to place people with particular skills in areas that suit them, which is why Abdulhamid Yunus found himself at a bicycle shop in Stuttgart. Yunus arrived in Germany from Togo. He's been working in this bicycle shop for the last 10 months. When he first started here, apparently his German wasn't fantastic, but that, it seems, is not the most important thing.
We realized that he is trying to learn the job with his heart and soul. He adapted himself to daily work life. We pay attention to his ability to use his hands, and he already started improving his German after 6 months.
But Yunus is a man who's had an horrific time. He spent nearly 3 years living hand to mouth in countries like Niger and Algeria, before getting to Europe via Spanish territory in Morocco.
I didn't want to come here. I did not even know how we get into this place.
While telling us his story, it became clear he still has real trauma. It's been an emotional time settling in Germany, and there's been plenty of new working practices to get used to.
Way back at home, a country where you repair, and if there's a problem, the customer comes back, then the customer needs to pay for. He cannot, there's no guarantee or something, but this is a different country where the customer could take you to court or anything, so you need to be very careful with the repair. Sometimes I had problems with my chef, sometimes I could not do it well, and customer comes back to ask for guarantee.
Germany accepted 320,000 refugees into the country last year, bringing the total number to 1.2 million. The Institute for Economic Research says the economy is expected to grow by an additional $100 billion by 2020. This is due to investments made in integrating refugees. That includes money spent on housing, food, and education. Getting new arrivals into work is not easy. There are levels of bureaucracy to go through, training to be given. But it's seen as vital in assimilating people from a variety of backgrounds into German society.
In Baden-Württemberg
alone, according to our predictions, in coming years we will have a shortage of human workers of up to about 300,000, which means we will need more people to work in industrial or similar work fields. We do not want to use these refugees only to recover this shortage, but this is, of course, an opportunity.
Abdulhamid Yunus has no idea exactly what the future will hold, but he's someone who is slowly becoming part of the wider society here. He also knows that working with bicycles in a job he loves, with training and help from his colleagues, is a better life than the one he left behind. Francis Collings, TRT World, in Stuttgart, Germany.
Well, joining me now from Athens is Gerald Knaus. He's the chairman of the European Stability Initiative, a Berlin-based think tank focusing on EU enlargement and also on migrant issues. Gerald, thank you so much for joining us on Money Talks. It is very important, isn't it, to integrate people in society through employment?
Well, it is the key issue if you want to enable both refugees to build an independent life and the society that welcomes them to see them as an asset and not a burden. And in Germany, this has been the philosophy for the last 2 years. And one of the strongest signals was when the German Chancellor made the former head of the employment agency of the country the head of the asylum office of the country, to send the signal that the asylum process that determines who gets to stay in Germany and the prospects of employment for those who will stay have to be linked very closely from the very beginning.
One of the big questions that perhaps it's a bit difficult to settle is, are migrants and refugees ultimately a boost to an economy or a strain? Because you have to integrate, support, train in the initial period, don't you? But do you then reap the benefits later?
Well, it is very clear that there isn't a simple answer to that question, because it depends on the society, whether there is employment. Germany today has very low unemployment. It's an economy generating many jobs. It depends, of course, also on the profile of the migrants or refugees arriving. But thirdly, and this is what you have shown very well in your clip, it depends on the efforts made. Clearly, in a society like Sweden or Germany, which are knowledge-based societies, there need to be some skills that people acquire. And if they are from countries, well, they don't have the language skills, they don't have the specific vocational training, there are, of course, possibilities for them to acquire them, but this needs to be organized. And the efforts in this field will determine the extent to which migrants can make a contribution or not. But if these efforts are made, this is the assumption made now in Berlin, then migrants will contribute to strengthening the German economy.
Now, last month here on Money Talks, we did speak to an artificial intelligence entrepreneur in Britain. He himself was an Iranian refugee who went to Britain and started a really successful business. He said that migrants and refugees are a self-selecting group of people who have had the get up and go, the energy to get out of a bad situation and make a new life for themselves. Is that what you found in your experience?
Well, I think it's very easy to look at the problems at the beginning. When a lot of people arrive, they don't speak the language, they're disoriented, many of them are traumatized. It is really hard to start fresh in a new society. So this is why it's important to step back a little and look at the potential.